everybody.
Good morning.
I will take the hit. We're late because of me. My son got up. Oh my god, I had a moment because my son got up and I looked at my watch and I thought it said like 8:50 and I'm like, oh my god.
Oh, I would have called you
by that point.
I'd be like,
Natalie, are you alive?
Hi. No rush. No rush.
No rush, but we're like completely late. But then I realized it was like, no, 7:50. And so I'm still laying there. I'm trying to go back to sleep. And Spencer's laying next to me and he's like, move your hands, move your feet and stuff like that. And I'm like, dude, I was sleeping. Okay.
Like there's a reason.
You came into my space. Though I will say his cold feet and stuff actually felt pretty good because I was getting warm. But then I'm laying there and my 5 alarms start to go off and it's like 8:15. And I'm like, it's cool. It's fine. All of a sudden I look over at my husband's clock, which is set further in time.
It's that late.
Yeah. So it said like 8:32 and I'm like, shit! That I'm momentarily forgetting that clock is actually wrong.
Which is the purpose of it, right?
Yeah. And then that's when I was like, I'm coming. You text. And then I'm like hopping in the bathroom. I was like, let's get this fixed. So yeah, that was my morning.
We're doing amazing. So I've got the timer pulled up. I'm actually surprisingly prepared today.
Yeah, we just need to pull up
I sent you
our stories.
Yeah, I sent you a shared doc for that.
Okay, let me have a copy and paste mine. By the way, I did not watch anything about your comments with my story. I only watched my comments with yours.
Oh, I watched some, and then I was like, "Oh, it's time." Okay.
It's time. Okay, I'm thinking of James Earl Jones' voice going, "It's time," like some Disney movie. Oh my god, it's gonna bug me.
You'll think of it in the middle of the night.
All right. Oh, open sesame. Come on, open the right folders. Well, I saw Shannon's in. Thank you, dear, because I'm glad we got our followers who see that we're not live yet, but they trust we will be, and they just go ahead and start commenting.
I appreciate you.
We see you, and you see us. All right. This was history rewritten. There it is. So I'm going to be honest, and I question whether I should say this or not, but I totally did not remember your story, like, when I was watching it.
I didn't remember my story either.
Okay. Because I was like,
where is she going? I mean, she being me. Where is she going with this?
Chandra was like, yeah. And I just forgot about your story. And it wasn't like a magical thing when I'm listening to it going, oh, okay, now I remember it. It was like the whole time it was like a new story for me. And I was like, I feel so bad.
No.
Everything.
I was also like reading it and I was like, how do I fix this?
That's what we're gonna figure out.
How can this be saved? I feel like it was a little all over the place, and your criticisms of it are completely valid. Because it was like I was writing two different stories and then pasted them together in the middle. And so the breadcrumbs didn't equal the ending of the story, in my opinion.
Yeah. So now what we need to do is do a whole arch of it of like, all right, let's go back to what is your intention.
Yeah.
So let's start talking about your intention while I'm pulling up.
That's the problem, though.
I don't know.
That, like, where we were saying neither of us remember the story. I have no idea what I had in mind. And now it doesn't make sense.
Okay, so we got 3 people. 2 people are together, and then there's a lover. All right. Let's go from there. First thing that... Okay, go ahead.
My question would be, is the lover actually the lover?
Oh, what if the lover is actually just someone who thinks they're a lover, but they are actually someone who's just obsessed and everything, and like misinterpret. Ooh, I actually like that. I like that a lot.
That could be an improvement.
Yes, actually, because that's a really good choice, because we have done the stories before of like, a lover and and such. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna make some notes here at the bottom.
Yep. I just finally came in and I'm...
I was laughing because I was like, are we typing the same thing? Did you read my mind?
I mean, it's possible. It's you and I. Oh, and my daughter woke up early, which is really weird. She usually sleeps in till like 10. So she came in at like 7:50 along with my son. Like, I was like, what the hell?
It was just a family hangout.
Yeah. She came in to ask about getting a shower, and we're like, we're sleeping. You're not going to affect us. Go get your shower.
Go live your best life.
Why did you wake up at 5:40? Good God.
I couldn't go back to bed.
I mean, that's like your normal time of... Actually, that's sleeping in if it was school. But it's not a school day. Sleep in. Okay. All right.
Just get a textbook and start reading.
Chandra said get a textbook and start reading. Yeah, they have everything like virtual now. I don't even think she has physical. Do you have a physical textbook? Like you can hold it in your hands textbook.
Oh, it hurts.
You forgot what a textbook is?
Yes.
Do you actually have textbook, or is every...
I thought a textbook was like just
a textbook is a book meant for a field of study.
Oh, like a math book?
Like a math book, yes, exactly.
No, I have a science book.
You have a science book. Okay.
Oh, thank God.
No, okay. Sorry, I was just wondering how disassociated I was from the school, and I just realized that I thought everything you did was virtual. And by virtual, I mean everything you did was on a computer.
I feel like Shannon and I were in the same space, just like... What happened?
But what if I like...
Oh my God. Okay, 1, I'm live. 2, all right, let me include Chad in this. My daughter's going ice skating today. It's like, we're talking about textbooks, and then immediately after we're like, we're not even fully done with that conversation. It was pretty much closed. She goes, I'm worried I'm going to cut myself going ice skating today. Okay, that was a jump. I understood it because she is going ice skating today, so it wasn't like I was still on the same page, or in the same book at least. Oh my God,
Shannon, I was not okay with that. Like I mean, they will never know. Opening your textbook at the beginning of the semester and looking to see who had it before you.
Yeah.
Looking for ridiculous notes and doodles.
Yes. And something to save you. Oh, I did that when I was buying my school books. Like in the bookstore, and I'm like, which has the most notes? And it was always great if there was funny little comments, not just like highlights of remember this. It was just like, really? Pluto's not a planet or whatever. I'm making that up now, but...
And all the notes and highlight. Yes, that was part of the process. Yeah. I mean, also, I feel like that makes that part of Harry Potter make less sense. when he that the Half-Blood Prince,
Yeah.
when he gets the textbook and it's got like all the answers in it.
Sure. My daughter just asked for coffee and I had to think it over. I'm like, fine. She woke up at 5:40. I mean, if there's ever a time.
Today's the day.
Yeah, because she's probably gonna. I mean, she's going ice skating, and then her and her friend. I'll be surprised if Zoe sleeps in. Goes to bed early. Does not go to bed early. There we go. I'll be surprised.
Tracking.
God. Okay. By the way, I think the whole interaction there was more tied to. That my daughter just hadn't heard linguistically textbook, physical textbook.
That's fair.
Differentiation. I think that was more because we learned she does have a science and a math.
I was shaken though at the thought.
Oh yeah, there was a moment where I'm like, first off, am I not clued into my daughter's schooling that I just now realized everything's online? Or yeah, it was just crazy. So all right. I was about to say let's start sprinting, but then I realized no, we still gotta go through the story.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were talking about your story. This is so we're talking about changing up. Now, I will say this has been done before, but that's not a problem. There was a movie with Amanda Seyfried where she was hired by a woman who was trying to confirm that her husband was cheating by pretty much becoming the other woman. But Amanda Seyfried actually had it, and I'm totally ruining the movie. But considering I can't remember the damn name,
it's fine.
Yeah. But Amanda Seyfried actually had a crush on the wife and was faking a relationship with the husband. Like she actually never interacted with the husband ever.
Hi, cool gamer.
Hey, cool gamer. And she was obsessed with the wife. So it was like this triangle thing without really knowing. And it wasn't until like, of course, halfway through the movie that you realized, oh, she was never with the husband. She was taking the money and getting these hotel rooms and buying outfits and stuff and then actually never being with him.
There's also a movie called Side Effects, which has Catherine Zeta-Jones, Channing Tatum, who else? It was actually quite good. Let me see who all was in it. I need to watch that movie again.
There's going to be lots of movies to be watched. Okay.
Oh, okay. It was a really good cast.
Now, upon reflection.
Yeah. Cast. There we go. Rooney Mara, Jude Law, Channing Tatum, Catherine Zeta-Jones.
I want to say I've seen this, but yeah, definitely worth a rewatch.
Yeah.
Medicine reminder for anybody who needs it, because I just remembered. All right.
Yeah, it was a really good movie. So yeah, it's kind of like what you're saying. It's along those lines. And yes, it has been done before, but I think.
But you haven't done before.
I haven't done it before, which is nice for me because I feel like I've written a lot of and the love of their life dies stories.
Yeah.
So that's fair. And then I think that would also be instead of the breadcrumbs leading to the
death,
they're indications of the obsession.
Yeah,
and that would make more sense.
Exactly. Okay, I like that. So now we're making a story. So things to I forgot. Who is this told from? Maybe that's the other.
This is told from the perspective of the obsessed.
Okay. So she could be digging.
And it's a he.
Oh, he. Okay. So
although that makes me question that choice because then it becomes You know the trope where it's like,
Yeah.
and the
No,
the
I
villain
already
is,
know where you're
is
going.
gay, and then you like, you know, the black person dies first, and
Yeah.
I feel like it's so easy because we see it so much in media, even like
We
to
confuse
subconsciously
how
pick that
often
up.
we see it in media. We confuse that with, oh, it's not a trope, it's the way it is. No.
Mhm.
It's life actually is not filled with obsessions and like, I mean, there is obsessions are the outliers, not life.
What if I change? I mean, I feel like this is probably still a little bit. What if I change the villain is a man, but I change the object of obsession to be a woman, so it's a couple, and it's two women.
Oh, and the man, oh my God, I love that. Yes. Okay. But, and so the obsessor kills the wife and the obsessed kills the obsessor is what's going to end up happening. But so we start out, so that means you're going to have to find a different word here, of I buried my lover because they didn't, or unless they're referring to their, yeah, they,
So the
my
obsessed
wife.
ends up killing both of them. But it would also have to change it a little bit to indicate that the obsessed is trying to cover up that the person he's obsessed with is a lesbian and therefore was never actually attracted to him, and that he's the creeper. Like, in order for the story to make sense, he has to completely erase that part of her identity in order for him to maintain the illusion that she ever cared about him.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's right.
What? Yes, you can.
All right. So then okay, so this is from, to be clear, this is from the perspective of the obsessor or the obsessed. The obsessor is the man. The obsessed is one of the women.
No. The guy who is obsessed with one of the women.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
who's doing the obsessing. Okay, so this is from the guy's perspective.
Yes, and both of them end up being victims of his whatever he's got going on.
Lots of things. Yeah. Okay. I'm liking where this story is going, even though we know the twist ending, but the twist ending is
an improvement.
Yes, the twist ending. So we start out thinking, oh, this is he was actually in love and this person loved them back, but they were married or whatever. But then the ending is, no, actually he's a stalker obsessed, and that's our ending, is that he apparently just assumed he had relationships, which reminds me of the story you did about the guy who put women in his attic and like had a relationship with them for that one.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
I just thought of it. I forget what the prompt or whatever, but
I was like, I did that. Did I do that?
Yes, you did, Steve Urkel. So yeah, that's what it just reminded me of. Okay, I feel like we got the basis for your story. I don't want to go in and nitpick lines because I feel like a lot's gonna change.
I agree, and I also feel like this was one of those stories where we both wrote stuff and we're like, I literally, if it wasn't required that I use this word, I would not have used that word.
Absolutely.
And I think that's
yeah. But you got your notes. Okay. Now for my story, the intention was rewriting history of what if Marilyn Monroe died after John F. Kennedy? And so it is the funeral of JFK and Marilyn Monroe showing up. But I kind of never really call her that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's told from this, it's third person acute following Jacqueline Kennedy. Not acute. No, it's probably acute because I think I talked
third person close.
Maybe close or it might be a little
deep point.
I'm not too much in her mind. I think it's mostly like we notice what she's doing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, the first thing, and this is specifically a line because I think the right here. I think the story is pretty clear, and even though you don't, the only name used is John, and that is a common name. I think within the context, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that jumped out to me, and I think I said this in the comments afterwards, was quickly using her brain.
Oh, yeah.
I did not like that line.
Where was that line? Hold on.
I just highlighted it for you. Scroll down.
Oh, there we go. Thank you.
That was honestly, that's my biggest objection in the whole story. And I know that's not super helpful.
Yeah.
Because it's just one thing. But I really felt like, given the prompt, most of what you have is line edits. There are some things, because this is historical fiction, and I know you don't usually write historical fiction, would be checking the weather for the day. This is busy work. If it, like, because the story is a good story, so it's like, what do you want to work on? I would say checking the weather for the day, and then making sure that Blondie is wearing, because I know it said she had a scarf over her head and stuff. Making sure that what she's wearing, because if it was the coldest day in November, I don't think you really describe what she's wearing, but it might be a good opportunity to throw in that she's wearing like some kind of fur coat or high fashion, because she would have. And maybe make a reference to the kind of clothing that she would wear and the level of, like, you know, despite X, Y, and Z, she was still, flawlessly put together or whatever. And I think it's an opportunity to juxtapose Jackie Kennedy's timeless, I don't want to say like modest. She was very modest, but also very put together, like American royalty, versus Marilyn Monroe's flashy, like edgy kind of, the other woman style that was like both admired and kind of disdained at the same time. Like, everyone was mad at her because they wanted to be her. And she was iconic in that sense. So kind of playing off the differences of their clothes, like maybe, she's wearing a dark fur coat and like it's coming off of a shoulder, or, something like that. Where
I was thinking of that. I was thinking when you were talking about the clothes, and I'm like, Jacqueline Kennedy's arms would be covered. Like, she always had those. She always had those like little jackets over blouses, or even just a full-on suit jacket thing. But now, I think I could spend doing some research on her clothes.
Yeah, so
like the weather and clothes is some of what Jacqueline wore, and then looking at clothes that Marilyn wore, like a black dress.
And I think that would really point out the differences between them, but because John is dead, we don't get to see or hear his thoughts of them, but you can still show their differences very clearly. But like I said, that it's just refinements, because the story, in my opinion, there's that one line where you use the word because you had to. It was one of the 10.
Which one?
The highlighted line.
Oh, the brain, or quickly, or whatever the word was. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, and when I was reading, I also stumbled over this line. It's not to say there's anything wrong with the line.
No, let's bring it up. Juan nodded, allowing the widow to help her as they walked to the wick. And then, but yeah, the wick, which actually that was part of my research, finding out that there was a like a candle that was supposed to always be lit at his his resting place. So, but
Yeah.
okay, I'll work on that.
It's
So yeah, now weather and clothes, and then just those few lines. Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, like I said, the one in green, there's nothing specifically wrong with it. I just stumbled over it. So just, read that section through and make sure, because it could be 100% my personal problem.
It's fine. Feedback is acceptable because, I mean, hell, there was the until I spoke up about the story, I didn't know you didn't remember your story.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't hold back feedback. That's one thing. If anybody watching needs to learn anything, don't hold back feedback. Don't give unsolicited feedback, because that's usually a point to make. But if someone is wanting feedback, don't hold back.
Yeah. And if the person's not, they're not prepared to take that kind of feedback, that's not really on you if they've asked for it. All you can do is be honest.
Agreed. The best you can do is give the information, and there's a way to present it. Like, you don't want to, like in this instance, Chandra going, you need to fix this line. That'd be not appropriate, but going, hey, I stumbled over this. I don't know if others will, but just a heads up, I stumbled. Do with it as you wish.
Yeah. And I mean, you even heard Natalie saying, what was your intention for the story? When I was like, I don't know. Send help.
It's probably good we don't do tangible and stuff, because do you know how much like paper and stuff you and I would just fall up and go, nope, crap. Just like toss it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would have to have a special trash can to put drafts in.
Yeah,
just for
I would have to have a rule that I would not ball up them, just because there might be an instance where I could use it. So
with this though, when I'm writing and when I'm editing, I just save a copy and do all my edits on the copy, and then I just keep doing that, and I just put a date or whatever when I resave, so that I'm not accidentally throwing away something good that I'm being really harsh and critical of. I do have a timer, so I'm gonna share that.
On the banner. This is actually edit number.
And I realized I hadn't used one of Laura's timers in a while, so I went back and I grabbed my fave timer.
I love it.
So if you haven't already liked this one, you should do that. I wasn't the only person to say this was my favorite timer.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who really do be loving this timer. It's a good timer.
I've realized it's the timers that are like the simplest, even if it's just like a constant, like a GIF on a loop. Still, it's gold.
Yeah, I do like it. Okie doke.
Okay.
We are ready, and we'll begin in 3, 2, and 1. I'm almost done. I think I got it.
I spent so much time doing research, and now I'm adding like other little things with it, such as apparently little John F. Kennedy. He had been practicing his saluting for months while he was traveling.
Oh,
Yeah, and he kept on using the left hand instead of the right, and he just happened to choose the right hand. There was like the day of a Marine was helping him, like perfect.
that is devastating.
Yeah,
Ugh. I did
because
get
like,
all
that
my
lets you know like that he was just learning it to learn it. It wasn't to be able to salute at his dad's funeral. Like,
right. He was just like the.
I want to learn how to do this, and yeah.
Oh, that hurts. Hi, Heather. Good morning. We're just hurting our feelings today.
Yep.
Mm. I made a lot of improvements. I'm just gonna get the word count here. 732.
Oh wow.
I did write a good bit. Ooh. Shannon has a fairy timer. We will need to see.
We're gonna do that next 30 minutes.
I'm gonna go look for it.
Yeah, track it down. So it took me a while to find the attire. I don't even have it.
Job equipment. Oh. It's our playlist. There we go. Timers. There we go. Ooh. 3-hour Dragon Pomodoro sprint timer.
Oh,
Why don't? Ooh,
I got
30
some things to
minutes
do today.
of nature cottage, fairy and nature cottage, 30-minute timer.
Oh yes, perfect.
Oh, it's so pretty. Okay, I have it pulled up and ready to go.
Sweet.
Also, don't forget to go like the timers that we're using.
Please do.
Still
By
here,
the way,
you've got a massage scale. Ooh.
As much as I hate to say this, you don't have to have a live stream to convince you to work. You could set a timer and work off that. So, all right. They like Eternal Fame. Had that.
Ooh, Shannon does have a romance writing and marketing panel on the channel later, so don't forget to check that out. Love it. Dobby is aggressively headbutting my hand.
All right. I hate describing clothes. Honestly, like it's one of my pet peeves because it makes me think of like fan fiction days of where there was always this like I grabbed the low-rise faded jeans from my closet and the cutest tank top that I got from Limited 2 and paired it with my my high top chucks where and my belly button could be seen where I had it pierced and stuff, which by the way I have a belly button piercing that I haven't put together since like I had kids, but it's still there.
The internal cringe I'm feeling.
Yeah, but that's why like description of clothes is for me, like I read other people do it that like in books and I'm like I'm flowing, it makes sense, but when I do it I feel like that fan fiction chick that's just trying to like learn about, and or guy by the way, not just girls, but for me I'd be a chick, fan fiction chick learning to describe everything around, and I'm describing the outfit like as if it's a crucial plot, and it's not. It's just to be like she looks cute is the end. And yeah.
Well, and the other thing too is you don't know if you leave it more open, especially when you're writing YA, your reader can relate a little bit more because they can just put like what their clothes would be. If I wore my cutest outfit, or I wore, I wore something that wasn't too noticeable or whatever, they can fill in the blanks in their mind and make the character more like them and more relatable in that way. Ooh, I've recently taken to using Pinterest to find clothing to describe. That's such a good idea.
That's smart.
I don't usually describe clothes. I think I'll sprinkle it in as in does it make sense for the scene, or if the character is like undressing, or do you like dressing? You know, in Pirates of the Caribbean, when Elizabeth is getting dressed in the beginning and it's the first time she's putting on this new fashion and she's like, I can't. Her dad's like, how's it coming? And she's like, not great. And then it becomes part of the story of like, she's like, hey, this is really hard to breathe in. And it makes sense for the story of why we need to see her dressing.
Yes.
Why it's important that she can't breathe. And then when she passes out later, it's like the whole time she's been saying, hey, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
It's really difficult.
And everyone's just like, oh no, why
is the new thing?
Like, yeah. So I think being able to like introduce little bits of information throughout the story where it becomes relevant breadcrumbs versus having to do an info dump is important. It also makes more sense. And also I've read so many books where it's like info dump clothing because I want to seem hip. And it's like, if you give too much detail, you automatically date the story.
Yeah.
Like
for example, I was about to describe the whole outfit, but then I realized the next line of with paparazzi taking photos, that's when I'm going to have the jacket slip down to expose her shoulder.
I like it.
But before I was going to throw it with the big description, then I was like, nope, this is better. So it's that whole thing where you don't have to give all the description at once. Like, look for other parts where
you can sprinkle it in.
Yeah.
Heather said, sorry, I grabbed my green jacket and put it over my white shirt. What the fuck am I doing right now? I love it. I imagine, I think genre expectations can lend to more or less clothing description. That's true. That is very true.
Yeah.
I imagine fantasy, sci-fi is a genre where it would be important. It can, yeah, I think that's true. But I still,
Absolutely.
in my, Natalie can speak a little bit more to this. I think in my sci-fi project, I sprinkled it in as it became relevant to the story.
Yeah, I think that's the most important part, because what I hated about the fan fiction, I think it was the clump of description of the clothes. Like, she's standing in front of her closet, pulling things out, going,
but that was always paired with I stood in front of my mirror and moved my lank brown hair out of my face. My green jacket paired well with my white shirt. I would have to dig in the bottom of my closet to find the green chucks to match. Like, that's where we were.
Yeah, it's that whole chunk, instead of, okay, we threw on our green jacket as we left the house. later it's muddy and it got our green chalks dirty. You
Mhm.
know, like that is the better description, to stretch it out as it becomes tied in, so the reader gets a picture in their mind.
Or even like, by the time I was done walking to school, my green chucks didn't match my shirt. Like, whatever. Just, you don't have to do it. Doesn't all have to happen at the same time. And I guess that's the point. Is like the description of the outfit isn't the bad thing. It's all in how it's done. Natalie exposing those shoulders for shame.
Because I have the blonde, as I call
Yeah.
her. She weekly smiles at the paparazzi.
Hi Nina. No worries.
Okay.
Forgot you streamed on Saturday, not Sunday. Hello.
Well,
You're just
fine.
here for the good part. We haven't started reading our edits yet.
Yeah, I'm about to share the screen. We were, I was filling some stuff in.
I walked past the mirror and blah blah.
Yeah, I dislike. I mean, we were all learning. Fan fiction for a lot of us was when we were teens and we were learning. We were all learning, and I hope they've grown past that.
See,
mean all of us. I'm included.
But Shannon, see, you made it a thing. It wasn't just a convenient way of describing your character. It has a bigger meaning. And I think it's also really cool that the character dislikes mirrors instead of being like, oh, look at me, I'm so pretty, versus it showing a truth that they're trying to.
We're talking contemporary novels or fan fictions. I always read the Linkin Park fan fictions. I had a crush on Chester. And I read a Michael Phelps one too, by the way. I read, yeah. But I'm talking contemporary. It's that they got out of the shower and they're looking in the mirror and they're just picking themselves apart, and you're getting the description of their body, but it becomes like how in Twilight Bella is like klutzy and stuff. It was kind of done a little bit too much, where it just, I don't know. It was kind of annoying how it was done. It was kind of the same thing with these fan fictions where it's like, oh, their character trait is they don't like themselves. Okay, well, can we have some growth or whatever to that?
Well, first of all, that's a good point. But also, to your point about that, Twilight was originally, no, it wasn't fan fiction. It was 50. Never mind. Don't worry about that. I was thinking it was like the other way around.
The 50 Shades of Grey was fan fiction to Twilight.
Yeah, but I think that, I don't know that she was writing. Was she writing Twilight to publish it initially? I thought she just started writing because she had a dream or an idea or something.
She had a dream and wrote it, and then she because it was that dream, and it's shown in the first movie, which to me it was dumb. It took away from the story, but it's when they're laying in the meadow and the light shines down almost like in a heart on them, and they're just laying there looking at each other, holding hands. Which in a dream, yes, it seems beautiful, but that was a situation of where she should have killed her darling when she was editing.
That's actually maybe a hot take, but I think that you're right. I think it didn't really add anything to the story aside, especially because when you look at their romance arc, it's hello, my old toxic friend. So yeah.
Oh my God.
It was based on a dream. How dare sparkly diamond vampires are not dumb.
Bye, Shannon. We'll miss you.
Thank you for dropping by. Hopefully I'll get to listen in on the panel later.
I know. By the way, if anybody wants a story arc, we always talk about how the first 5 minutes of Up is a beautiful love story and stuff.
The first 5 minutes of
Up,
yes.
Disney movie.
Yes, it is. It's hurtful.
It is. But I just watched a beautiful love story. It had me in tears. And it was episode 3 of The Last of Us.
Yes. Oh, it hurts. It hurts.
I'm sitting there crying, and Alex is like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Can you hand me a tissue?"
It was. It was. And then that
I'm
song
even
that they
getting
played,
teared up thinking about it. It was beautiful.
it was so beautiful. Oh, you have to watch it. Go watch it. If you make sure that you're in a good frame of mind. It is beautiful.
Yes.
You will cry.
That I will say trigger warning, like when it comes to the kids. So my daughter wanted to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a scene at the beginning, and it's not because of who's in the scene at all.
It would just generally not necessarily be appropriate for children, regardless
It's
of
it's not appropriate for children, no matter any gender or sex of the person, because of sex. So
if they're not at the age where
exactly. Luckily nothing is seen, but it is very much implied, and it's not a go to black. It's the focus of the camera stays away from the area, but you know what's happening off the shot of the camera. So
so if kids are not to that point in media,
yes,
then it's not for them. But it is a very good episode.
It is.
Yeah.
Alex, Chandra saw The Last of Us, and we're gushing about the episode 3 that I was totally crying on.
Did she cry when the daughter died?
Alex asked, "Did you cry?"
About the daughter dying, or about the relationship?
Were you upset about the daughter dying, or the relationship?
Yes.
No, which one? She said yes. So.
Hi, Eva.
Hi, Eva, dear.
I was up so early today. I forgot it was Saturday. Spoiler day.
Yeah, because I know she was going to. This is extra story. We don't get the extra story in the game, so it was new.
We will not tell you what we're talking about, so therefore there will be no spoilers.
Yeah.
So the song, though, that plays during the episode, On the Nature of Daylight, that song also plays in Shutter Island.
Oh.
When he comes home and finds his family.
Oh, wow.
It's in a lot of movies, and like it's one of my favorite songs as well. Like I will just go and listen to that song. And so when it started playing, I was like, oh no, I'm not, I can't do this. I'm not ready. It's
like playing Red that song from Game of Thrones, the Red Wedding thing.
Oh,
like that song. It's like playing that. You know something's about to happen.
You're gonna get your feelings hurt.
Yeah, and music does clue you in on stuff. So
yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead and read your story, and then we'll go over mine and discuss the changes we had. I wish I had it. Well, wait, nope. I wish I didn't always have to be digging. That I could have taken things as they were, instead of thinking I was superior enough to condemn things as I saw them. If I had allowed the funeral to be what it was, instead of searching for some greater plot, I understood why Anne didn't want me to sit with her at her mother's funeral. She hadn't had a chance to tell her family about us, but I didn't like the way the other woman was glued to her side. If I could have let it go, I wouldn't have had to bury my lover. It's me. It's not your writing, I swear. When I searched for Anne, I knew it couldn't be true. I knew it couldn't be true that she was really gone. I stood over the bathroom sink with the faucet on full tilt to smother the sound of my sobs. I churned her broken coat button in my hands, trying to replicate her face in my memory, thinking of our one trip away together. I couldn't seem to remember. I couldn't remember how we got there or the name of the hotel where we stayed. When I remembered our fight, how she'd pulled away from me, I felt foolish. Now the button was a reminder. But it was also the only thing I had left her. My heart went cold. My brain was muddled and foggy. I forgot to eat, sleep, live. Now I could see it. When it was too late for either of us to go back to the lives we had led before. I wasn't even sure I had a life without her, but I wanted to go back anyway. The moment I'd seen her in the coffee shop had given me purpose, even if I'd been too shy to introduce myself. She smiled at me, and that was enough. Now, crying over the perception of a life lost was much different than knowing it was gone forever. And having taken her life myself, I couldn't seem to remember the good times we had together. Somehow, I traded places with the woman I didn't know. I stood back with the blood going cold and tacky on my hands. The knife passed into it like glue. There was no denying I'd cut myself too in the process. Had I tried to wrestle the knife away? In the end, it didn't matter. Anne was gone. The other woman had watched us say our goodbyes, tied in the dark with the sewer rats coming up around her ankles. I held Anne, kissed her, and comforted her. I told her I loved her, and I saw in her eyes that she loved me too, even though she couldn't speak. I watched the jealousy burn in the other woman's eyes. She couldn't bear the thought of her wife had loved a man. And it was her fault that they had to die for it. Partly, it was my fault too, all because I couldn't leave well enough alone. People will always talk about the things they wouldn't do for love, or how they would never hit a woman. But when I saw what she had made me do, I did hit her. I knocked her out cold. I dragged her to the end of the gutter where the overflow reached the river, opened her artery, and pushed her out into the cold Potomac. They would find her, true enough, but they would never be able to sully my Anne's good name or smear her for being a cheat. They would never malign her for loving a woman, although I would never be associated with her name in my rightful place. This was the tax on my love and the twisted distribution of justice. People would wonder why a promising young doctor had killed a professor of anthropology. They would never know about her pretty young wife. I had gotten there in time. The ink hadn't dried on the papers. I had shredded them and flushed them away. There was no record of Anne and Patrice as wives. They would only ever be good friends, roommates at best. For me, I would rather be seen as the jealous lover who killed his girlfriend than the kind of man who was cheated on with another woman. That was what the papers would say, and there was no way they could know this was history rewritten. Ooh. I like it. There was times where I'm like, are we heading in that direction? And I'm still not sure if his because we're seeing it from his eyes, so we can't really tell that he's actually delirious.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but that's where we kind of take away first person. I feel like the only way that we would be able to slight him on not being. Are you about to leave?
Yes.
Well, bye. Love you. You were hovering and pacing.
Yeah, I was waiting to use the ice maker, but you took too long.
Well, do you want to use the ice
No,
maker?
I've already filled up my water bottle.
Okay, fine. Love you too. Bye.
Love you, Spencer.
Okay. Like, I think what it would take to show that he actually is delirious is for him to note something where she was turning him away, but he's like, she's only doing that to protect me or something. Like, I know she didn't mean it or something as she pushes
so a little
me.
bit more of like maybe when I put in that she didn't want me to sit with her at her mother's funeral because the family didn't know about me, and I not liking the other woman being so close to her, but then maybe a note about, but I couldn't understand why she would never wear the ring that I got her.
Nobody.
Yeah, thank you.
And she'd get upset if I left flowers on her pillow or something like that, where we know that he's been where he's not welcome and where he's not supposed to be.
Yeah.
And yeah, because so the part where they're tripped together, and I might need to go over this again to make it a little bit more clear. but I was kind of thinking that she went somewhere and he followed her there. And
Like, so maybe
that's why he can't remember where they stayed or how they got there, because he was just following her. And so the fight
maybe
was,
flesh that out.
yeah, and the fight was
like,
her
maybe
pulling away
he's
because he's a creepy stalker. Why are you here while I'm like away on it?
I think that's what's going to give us the big clue is what if at that trip, because they have a fight, what if at that trip she finds out he's there, she confronts him, and she says what she really means, which is like, back off, you're creepy, yada, yada, whatever the wording is. And so we get that. Yes, Spencer.
Ooh, that's a good idea. We actually get to hear her point
Her
of
words.
view and then his interpretation of it.
Where he completely ignores it or something. But we kind of like for some reason I'm thinking of Hercules, where Mega says, where yes means no and no means take me, I'm yours, and stuff like that thing, where he just totally takes it away. So that way he is discrediting what she's saying, and that will give us a clue that this is untrustworthy narrator. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's something that will really sell it and close it, because right now it's a little confusing of good job, buddy. Did you get breakfast? No. Okay, I'll make you breakfast once I'm done with this.
We have
cereal?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Cool. All right. Sorry, he's hovering, so I had to address it. But yeah, I think that's what will strengthen this, and where we make it clear that we have an untrustworthy narrator. But I still love it. I kind of, I did get a little confused because it seemed like this part where they're fighting or something. So I'm assuming her wife is in the gutter, already tied up.
Yes.
Okay. And then he also, after the fight, he also puts her in the gutter.
Okay, so what I was thinking about this, like, as the timer went off, and I was thinking about what you had said in the comments of the video from where we drafted this, and it would be kind of good. And I did say at the end that no one would ever, that Anne disappears, but he knows they're going to find Patrice's body. So maybe he actually does bury Anne. And that's why we have at the beginning.
He's digging.
Yeah.
Mom.
Okay.
So yes. That needs to be worked back in. And then it makes sense that he's digging, I buried my lover. And so they'll find Patrice, and they'll never know what happened to Anne.
Yeah.
And almost like he's keeping Anne for himself. To make it extra creepy, because we don't have enough creepy in this story.
No, of course not. I love the edits, and I love what could change, and I hope it reinvigorates your passion for it.
It's definitely better than it was, and makes more sense than it was. But now there's at least a thread of the storyline that can be followed that I can like pull on and make it make more sense. I like what Eva said here. Keep it in the right POV. I heard none of this one either. She's knee deep in a project right now, but I just started catching up with you recently. So
kind of the same deal.
Yeah. And I think that's a good point.
He actually had relationships with the people, and then they'd find out he's a little crazy, and they would try to break off the relationship.
Yeah. In this one, there's all one-sided.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Love it. Okay, so let me read your story.
Bring it on.
The funeral procession was on one of the coldest days in November. All of the patchy sky created sun columns. There was an even distribution of people lining the streets to pay their respects to the widowed family and fallen. Some watchers would sink to their knees and sob. Some watchers would sink to their knees, their sobs attacks to losing someone they thought they knew. The saddest part was not the bystanders, but the family. The widow was now without her partner, friend, and former lover. Their youngest child was preoccupied with a button on his jacket, but even he understood as his father's casket went past to render a salute. He had practiced for months while traveling with his father and chose the right hand to hold against his forehead. This was not the intended purpose of his education. The mother suppressed a smile, knowing showing pride in her son would be misinterpreted by the media. There is an art to handling such decorum. Very few could see her face behind the black veil she wore. Her black wool skirt and jacket kept her warm, despite her exposed calves. Her shoes were closed-toe, low black heels, sensible and modest. Entering the commentary, the mother made sure to keep her head held high, but not too high. She knew what was to come next. As her husband was lowered into the ground, the blonde wearing all black approached the gravesite. The widow nodded with a fake smile to the family friend, as the public knew her. In over 6 years, this was the only time the widow felt jealousy. The blonde took off her sunglasses and lowered the black scarf from over her short curled hair. Black streaks could be seen down her cheeks. Her black A-line dress swayed with every turn and twist, while her 3-inch heels lengthened and toned her calves. Paparazzi took a few pictures, and the bombshell offered a weak smile over the shoulder as her jacket slipped down, exposing her shoulder. They should be condemned, the widow thought. As the blonde approached the wick she was to light, she turned and threw herself over the casket. "John, oh John," she called out. The widow quickly ran to her side, leaving her children in the audience. This was supposed to stay a secret, despite her husband's wishes for the blonde to light the eternal flame. Quickly, she lifted up the other woman, looking like a friend from a distance, but her grip was tight. "We'll both light it," she whispered. The blonde nodded, allowing the widow to help her as they walked to the wick. They lit the eternal flame, heads bowed. Once lit, they exchanged a blink of an embrace and walked in opposite directions of each other to never cross paths again. I like it.
I still like it. Yeah. Like, I think one of my favorite lines is a blink of an embrace.
Yeah.
Just because that I feel like it's like we have to do this for show. Let's go.
Yeah.
Like, don't touch me too long.
I think it's clear, and I liked the mirroring of the descriptions of their clothes to convey like the modesty versus toned calves, and the style of shoes, closed toe versus this like high heel, the sensible warm clothes versus the coat slipping over the shoulder. I thought that was really...
Do you think there's an echo there of like she smiles over her shoulder as the coat slips down, exposing her shoulder? Like,
I think the echo... So yeah, there is an echo there. The shoulder. I think... Let's see. She maybe she turns her head to the side, offering a weak smile as her jacket slipped down, exposing her shoulder.
a weak smile. A smile showing off with a weak smile. Okay. Wait. Ooh. Okay. Paparazzi took pictures and the bombshell offered a weak smile. Her jacket slipped down, exposing her shoulder.
Maybe
I'm trying to say like
that she's looking over her shoulder.
yeah.
Maybe
Turned her head to them.
yeah.
Okay.
She offered a weak smile. She turned her head to them. Her jacket slipped down, exposing her shoulder. Yeah. I think that does it. I think also the echo part that is a good echo, or maybe a repetition, where
It's mirror is on purpose, echo is accidental.
Yeah,
is the way I think of
where
it.
the wife doesn't smile because she doesn't want there to be a perception, but she's also not like wailing and crying and everything.
Yeah.
You can see that the mascara on her cheeks versus someone who's got the mascara on her cheeks, but then also like is a little coquettish and smiles over her shoulder towards the cameras. It's like very
even showing different. More difference.
Yeah. Eva was giving us some suggestions. Can it expose her collarbone? Oh, it slipped off her shoulder. Long sentence. Oh, it worked. It was a long sentence the way I said it too. Yes.
Yeah.
Slipped as she turned it. Maybe slipped. She said, "Oh, never mind all of that. You have slipped and done exposing. I pick one verb or the other."
But the jacket is slipping and the shoulder is exposed. I can't think of how to do those. No. Take
maybe it would be her jacket. Maybe what she's saying is paparazzi took a few pictures. Well, you could actually, if you want to make the sentence shorter, you could say paparazzi took a few pictures, period. Okay. The bombshell offered a weak smile. She turned her head to them, her jacket exposing her shoulder. Or
she turned her head, her jacket.
Is that what you meant, Eva? We have took, offered, turned, slipped, and exposing in one sentence.
Okay. All right, the bombshell.
You could also do the bombshell offered a weak smile, period. And then do she turned her head to them, her jacket slipped down, exposing her shoulder.
That's still all the verbs, but she turned her head to them, her jacket slipped down, exposing her shoulder. Yeah. Well, maybe breaking it up like that instead of one sentence. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's stronger. She'd remove slip down. Because to me it adds, because I didn't say she had a jacket before, so this is my chance to mention she has a jacket. Because I did. If anybody was wondering,
Eva said I like that change now.
Okay, if anybody was wondering, it was about 47 degrees at 3 p.m. in Washington, D.C. on November 25th, 1963.
So
Thank God for the internet.
You know, that's the level of detail I personally love.
Yes. I'm so glad we have this type of stuff out there, where we can actually pull the exact dates. Now, I guessed on sunny and cloudy patches and stuff like that, but yeah, it works. Okay, so now,
hi Mia. How are you? We are getting ready to go into our next segment, our sprint. I really appreciated that opportunity to break down the sentence.
Yes,
because it's interesting. Like when you're wanting the sentence to say certain things, but it's coming out too long, and then like finding places to break it up. Because I am notorious for a good run-on sentence. Like, ain't nobody run on a sentence like me. So that was helpful.
Okay, so what we're gonna do now?
Ooh, Eva, killing it. I'm down to about 125 of my own visions to finish doing. Yeah. I'd have changed that segment differently if I were editing it.
Hey, and I probably would have fully accepted whatever you put down.
I know, right? Actually, Eva, I probably need to like hire you and stuff. So
I've used her multiple times, and she was even nice. She was like, "Hey, I'm sorry to bother you, but I haven't gotten payment for that last thing." And I'm like, "Oh no, I totally paid you." I look and I go, "Oh no, I didn't. Whoops. Here you go."
honestly, I really appreciate when people do that because sometimes my brain is just like, no, I will not be helping you with any of this. This is your problem. And I'm like, so no, tell me, like, send me a Venmo request.
Well,
Just
and
let me know.
and like Eva's so like detailed because I get the like first round with comments.
Mhm.
Second round, the comments are taken away, but the length now is probably over the word limit that I needed. And then the third one is below the word limit with a few more edits and a few more comments of how I might want to change it, but at least it's below the word count and it's like all the other edits accepted as well. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm spoiled with choices. Like
I need to but Piper's up now, so I need to let her out and just
okay, go ahead, let her out. I will handle this as I pull up
Okey-doke.
the photos, paintings. All right, chat. So today's random inspiration prompt is photos. It's going to be like paintings and such. So I'm typing in Google right now, classical paintings, just because I want that. And I agree. I can't read things with edits unaccepted. Like I get confused with the cross out and then the new words. So yeah, it gets confusing. All right. I'm gonna X that out. All right, I need to share my screen. Also, chat. Feel free to post links if you want us to use different artwork. But right now, I actually kind of like that. Like I'm getting ideas already of what could this be for a story. Like why are they doing like Ring Around the Rosie or something here?
So that takes me to Outlander, which I've read a lot of. So I think I would not. Maybe for me, I would not use that one.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put that one on hold for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then this one.
Ooh.
Like, because here I'm questioning, are these like the Mean Girls? Did they push her down there? Or is she like a water nymph and is being born? Like my mind's going multiple ways.
I have a.
Are they trying to? She's got a net, so are they trying to catch her?
I have an idea. Okay,
you got an idea? This is yours.
Yep, that one's mine.
Okay, I am going to.
Also, this is perfect because of the timer from Shannon that we will be using for this sprint. So.
Perfect. Okay, I'm trying to figure out how do I get this damn picture to you. Okay, I'm gonna view the page, and then. Oh my god, they have so many on here. I could get lost in this thing. That style of painting is my favorite.
Is this like a wine and a sip and like where you
there you go. Okay, so you do have this. So I'm gonna send you this link, and so that you can get it because I can.
Okay, that is perfect. I am going to share.
And then apparently you can download it.
This once again, this timer is from Shannon. So if you like the timer, don't forget to hop on over there and show it some love.
All right. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. I will try to figure out a way to post the picture into the
Maybe link to them in the description, or
in the
yeah,
oh,
if you
yeah,
send
we
me
can
the
link
links
to-
for both of them, I can put them in the description.
Perfect. But I was also thinking of sharing. We're going to have to flash up the pictures again, just as a reminder of what the inspiration was.
Okay, that's a good call.
Okay, but yeah, I will. I'm gonna get my painting, and yeah, we'll go. I'm getting Little Women vibes with mine, but it works.
Oh, I do like that. That's a cute idea. Mine is gonna be something.
There it is.
So remains to be seen.
Okay. All right, I got percent. Oh, and I can download it. That's kind of cool. I just typed in classical paintings, by the way, if anybody's wondering.
These are so cute. Ooh, I love that one with the forest, the dark forest. That's
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Okay.
Okay.
All right. We will begin. Oh wait, hold on. Before I do that, let me grab your link too, so I can put it in there.
Yeah. I actually am hungry. I'm gonna see if I can eat and write at the same time.
Okay. We will begin the sprint in 3, 2, and 1. Okay. That was our second sprint. I think I'm going to do more with my story at a later point in time. It's a little fun. I would say, there's a book that I read, and it's kind of reminiscent of this. I think it was it Fanny something. Eva got another handful of revisions, closing in on getting this draft up to 28,000. That's a wee one. Had to go buy some stuff. Nina said I had to go buy some stuff for my birthday tomorrow. Whoop, whoop. Happy birthday. And continued outlining my book. I also looked at a painting for inspiration, not drafting, but plotting. But still, yeah, that's a great idea. Love that. And that's the whole point, right? Just different ways to find inspiration. So I think that's still a great use. The book I was talking about was Fanny Hill, or Memoirs of a Woman of Pleasure. And this book is from... Oh, that's not right. Somewhere between 1709 and 17... Well, the author lived 1709 to 1789. And he was kind of infamous for this story because it was early erotica. So I kind of used part of that, but also when I say erotica, it's in the not loosest of terms, but it's like
I came in at the strange time.
It's super vague. Like they say, most of it is like so vague that you're like, I don't understand what the problem is. Like reading Dorian Gray or Tess of the D'Urbervilles, and you're like, this was a banned book because why? It's kind of like that. I mean, it's a little... Fanny Hill is a bit more explicit than those two. Quite a bit more explicit, but still the sections are like, it's very vague. And so when you read something like that and you're like, like, I get that this is the origination of, or like part of the origination of this genre, but what's so bad about this? So I kind of went for a little bit of that Fanny Hill meets Jane Austen, of like keeping the vagueness, but also some of like the fun bits. I'm over here writing middle grade suitable for all ages, but bound to upset some parents anyway. It is fair. It is fair. And I feel like you make a good point that like there's always going to be somebody who's like, that's too much. And I mean, I'm not going to say that. By the way, Natalie, I shared it with you. I'm not going to say that this is like appropriate for all audiences, but I also feel like I never said I don't think I said anything overt. I think it was all very vague, and it can be...
It'll be fine. I can handle it.
It can be whatever you want it to be, and I think that's part of what makes it so fun to write like that.
Wait, what? It's Nina's birthday.
Tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow.
We're saying happy birthday, and I'm gonna remember that when because I'll be on Zara's stream tomorrow morning.
Do it.
I'm gonna make sure I say it. I actually probably need to write it down because my memory sucks.
There are ghosts in this story, and one of the children cast questions where they go when they aren't ghosts anymore. Ooh. An adult character says something like, actually, let me find it. I'm intrigued.
Oh, I need to open up Google Doc stuff. Easy sparking.
Oh, I've got 15 minutes before I have to go.
Oh, wow. I didn't even notice the time. Okay.
Also
Wait, did you share the new one?
yes. I think I did. Share. Yes, I did.
Okay. Yeah, there I see it. All right. Spencer's in a mood.
It do be like that sometimes. Well, that's a bigger question than I have the answer for. I like that. That's a good one. Eva, if you need a
Nice.
beta reader,
Go back that
I go. Oh. There you go, buddy.
do you want me to read yours first?
Yeah, we'll read mine first. I just pasted it, and the picture didn't paste here. So, all right.
Oh, I should probably insert the picture as well on mine.
Trying to figure out how to insert the picture. Hold on. Insert image. Upload from computer. Pictures. This is where I love having two screens because I put the picture above on my second screen while I was writing.
Insert image. Upload from computer. Downloads. Inspo. Insert. Okay.
There we go.
Nailed it.
Okay. Sharing the screen, and you'll read mine, and then I'll read yours after.
Okay.
Mine's really short, so we might actually be able to get to everything. So a reminder, 5 girls, looks like they're doing like a ring around the rosy shindig here. All right.
5 young ladies sat in a circle, each one braiding another's hair. The fabric of their dresses draped and curved around each other to make what looked like a pallet in the center large enough for a dog to sleep on, if there was one around. Lily, the one wearing white, said, "This is the last time we can be together like this, just us." Brianna laughed as she pulled up her green sash on her shoulder. "Are you kidding? Even married women gather together without their husbands. We can too." Martha, in her cream dress, patted Lily's hand as all the women turned to the center of the circle. "I understand what you mean," Martha said. "We'll have our husbands to answer to, and if we are blessed enough, children to care for. Where would we forbid them to be outside without any shoes on?" Martha pulled up her dress and wiggled her exposed toes. The ladies erupted in laughter as they did the same. Emily stood up promptly, and before her green dress settled at her ankle, she said, "Well, I promise to write each month." Sarah stood up next. "I promise to send pressed flowers every spring." Martha, Brianna, and Lily stood as well. Lily held out her hands to Martha and Sarah beside her. "You will be in my prayers each night," she said. Emily held the hands of Brianna and Martha. Brianna and Sarah's hands closed the circle. "I hope I have 4 girls and they will be your namesakes," Brianna said. Martha beckoned the ladies to walk in a circle while holding each other. Their steps turned to skips. Their laughter resonated as they fell back to the ground, and the fabric of their dresses intertwined once again. That's so sweet.
I was actually questioning. I was like, wait, I don't think it's done. But actually, now that I got their fabric intertwining once again, I feel like there is like a symbolism
the
there.
Circle.
Yeah, it does kind of.
Mm-hmm.
So it maybe is a beginning and an end there.
Eva, yes, I will be an alpha. It's like a beta, but I know it isn't the final form yet. Still 4 books to write. I'll do edits to make it all cohesive twice more, I think. Love it.
I volunteer as well.
Maybe we trade an alpha, read feedback with whatever edits you were wanting done. Ooh, that works. Eva has some notes here for your story, which made a palette. Just say it as a fact. Same message, fewer words. Helps pacing, makes the sentence shorter.
All right.
And add and before Lily.
At which part? Maybe here.
Martha, Brianna, and Lily stood as well.
Oh.
I think that's...
There we go. Okay, and then we're talking about the palette.
Mm-hmm.
Make. So instead of what looked like a, just make a palette in the center large enough for a dog to sleep on, if there was one around. Okay, yeah. I like that. Yeah, more oomph.
Love it.
Okay, remove what? Okay, yeah, I got it. But yeah, I got Little Women vibes the whole time.
Yeah,
and I will say each of them, I do have like a picture of each of them. So Lily is in white here. This is Martha. This is Sarah. Emily is in the green in the back. And then this is, I was going for Brienne.
Brianna.
But that's Brienne.
That's cute.
Yeah, like they fully have stories and everything now. So, yeah, Little Women vibes. My son's still crying. Okay. So that was definitely fun. I enjoyed that, by the way. This was like a really fun thing. So so we can keep pictures up. What are the names of the characters before I read?
Let's see. Cecilia is in the yellow.
Oh, that one. Okay.
The MC is in the water, and Ethel is in the teal on the bank.
Okay. Cecile, Ethel, and then who? In water?
Main character is not named.
Oh, okay. I heard MC and I was like, oh, that's a unique naming because I'm thinking like phonetically or something. Okay. Brother was angrier than I've seen him before. This was worse than when John Henry left his pants at the local tavern and crashed his carriage, leaving his groom to pay the tab and clean up the mess. I didn't mean to cause any harm. At first, when Cecilia pushed me into the goldfish pond, I'd been upset. I started to undress just to embarrass her, and because it was too tangled to get out. But when Ethel waded in the water, it only goaded me. To be fair, the dress had been too sodden and heavy for me to get out of the water. But when I was down to my shimmies, I could no longer be the of cause.
That could no longer be the cause of.
That can no longer be the cause of my lack of decorum. Cecilia was never one to be left out. She stripped down her clothes completely. She said that the cream color of my shift was churning brown, and since hers was much finer than mine, she didn't want to risk it. Things wouldn't have been so bad if we had stayed in the water, honestly. We didn't think much of it since the pond was far from the road. No one should have seen us. It was much worse since it was Radford. He was the son of father's best friend, so of course he told. I think it was because he was angry at Cecilia for turning him down. I don't think it helped that she was a little in love with me and I with her. Part of us thought we'd always be together and never really thought much about it, about getting married. When we had finished our games, when Radford passed, I think we were all sleeping. I don't remember seeing him. We had spread our things over the bushes in the sun so they could dry, and we rested on our picnic blankets. was never a thought about our skin getting darker, even if it wasn't the fashion. I churned out most of what Father said. He had been waiting for me when I got home. My disheveled garments were a testament to the truth of the rumor he had heard. It didn't really matter. We had already been planning our escape. As an heiress, Ethel was determined we get away somewhere. They wouldn't mind our eccentric ways. A beach cottage would do nicely, or maybe something a bit grander. When Father said the bit about my needing to marry before the word got out, I flinched. I don't think anyone minded the idea of girls having some fun, but it was clear that when it was time to put those kind of things aside, she would be sensible and do the right thing. I should have been a bit more cautious. I think my fear of marriage was what really frightened him. He said he had indulged me too long. That 19 was really a bit old to still be unwed, even with so many offers. He said that I was lucky that despite my behavior, Radford was willing to marry me. Me out of the three of us that he had seen. The others might as well have married the shepherd on their father's farms, if they could, as no one would have them now. I understood his meaning. I had a good dowry, and the only witness could vouch for me if I was his wife. Ethel would be fine. One could afford to be a wild young heiress, and she could always marry some French who found her wildness charming and romantic. But if I didn't marry Radford would make sure Cecilia was ruined. Really, it was a little funny. My father gave us a warning. I sent a note to both of them before bed. We would meet by the ferry before dawn. All we needed was a reason to truly start our lives together. And Radford, damn him, he had given us the cause. There we go. Oh, I love it. I was like, don't marry him. Don't marry him. So I love the ending now.
I like what Eva said here. I'd rework that one to go more in order. Have them hang their clothes and then nap, and then have the MC say she didn't remember seeing Radford.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that's a good idea. You
Yeah.
both went with a more historical voice with the images. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Who that could vouch.
Yeah, it's saying Radford. I know you were saying Radford could vouch for her by being married or something.
Mm-hmm.
But if she didn't marry him, he would ruin Cecilia. But it's like what I think we need for people who aren't familiar with historical stuff, I feel like we need a little bit.
I gotta jump out of here.
Yeah.
I will go back through it. I appreciate the notes and feedback. And I will see y'all.
Bye, dear.
Bye.
I will finish this up. So the only thing I have to add is that we would definitely need a better historical understanding of what are the implications for these girls if they are ruined. Like, what is the societal backlash of that? So that's really all I had to add. But Chandra had to go to work, so we understand. Yes, Spencer, what do you need? What? You want to go to Waffle House? You already had breakfast. We're not going to Waffle House. He only wants to go to Waffle House because his sister's going to go. So, all right. That is all I have. I got a 5-year-old who is been moaning and groaning in the background this whole time. Oh, still is. So I'm glad y'all enjoyed the stream. I enjoyed it too. I definitely enjoyed the painting approach here, and we'll see where we go from here. But next Saturday, by the way, Chandra and I will not be live. We won't have this going on, but we will be back the following Saturday. So no stream on 17 February. So, all right. Catch you later. Bye, dears.